Hey everybody, Austin here again with a Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Rastan for the Sega Master System. This is a conversion of the arcade game dubbed Rastan Saga, created by Taito. A very challenging arcade game, actually, and made slightly less challenging on the Sega Master System conversion, thankfully. This is a pretty tough game for the system, one I thought I would never be able to finish. It's tough, you do get limited continues, and the bosses feel pretty erratic when you first fight them. However, recently I've been binging some Sega Master System games again, and I decided to fire this up and really put some serious effort into learning how to play it. And lo and behold, I found out that all the boss fights have specific patterns you can follow and specific strategies you can try to use to defeat them. And once you figure that out, the bosses become a hell of a lot easier. And also the levels themselves can be pretty tricky at first, but you can kind of get into a good rhythm and flow and learn parts where you have to jump regularly versus doing a high jump, or, you know, attacking vertically upwards, doing an up slash versus a down slash, things like that. And then kind of learning where the baked-in power-ups are, like weapon upgrades and so on and so forth. And then hopefully getting some good RNG on the random enemy item drops. That is probably the hardest thing about this game, is that item drops are completely random in this game. So in one playthrough, you might get a ton of health refills. On the next playthrough, you might get a ton of poison potions that deplete your health, or a bunch of items or power-ups that don't really power up anything except boosting your score higher, which score is completely, no pun intended, pointless in this game. You get no perks from having a good score in this game, outside of, you know, if you're trying to do a high score competition with friends. Who does that these days on Master System? I don't know. But yeah, you're at the mercy of the random item drops as you kill enemies in this game. And so what we're going to do here is try to go through this whole game. Hopefully we can get ourselves a 1 credit clear and not die. So I can show off kind of a good route through the game and show you how, by using specific strategies, you can get through the game relatively consistently without dying. Now, Rastan, you don't really get any lives. You just, when you die, it's game over instantly. No backup lives or anything like that. No reserve lives. However, you do get 3 continues. So in a way, it's like you have 3 lives. But if you're trying to get a 1 credit clear, that means you can't die at all in this game. So a 1 credit clear in this is basically a 1 life clear. And that is pretty tricky. Of the dozens of times I've played through this game, I've only gotten that a handful of times. All the times I've gotten that, I've had some pretty good RNG, some pretty good randomness in terms of the enemy item drops. So yeah, we'll see how we do in this playthrough. So for those of you guys that are new to this series of videos I do, basically these are just live on the spot commentary walkthroughs. I try to practice these games beforehand, so I'm familiar with them, so I actually have stuff to talk about when we play them. It's not me just fumbling around for the first time. So the idea of these videos is to try to help people through the games, or show people that these games are beatable without a tool-assisted bot or something like that. So yeah, I have learned how to play through this game recently, and it is actually a really fun playthrough, and it's definitely one of those games for the Master System that I can definitely wholeheartedly recommend. I think it's a really cool game, despite some of its classic early Master System action game jank. There is definitely some of that here. It is a fairly controllable game. Once you know patterns and level layouts and boss patterns, you can get through the game fairly consistently, and it is a good time. It's got some decent visuals. It's got some good visual variety in terms of the background tiles that are used, and I think it's got some good music. I really like the main theme. It's very catchy and always sticks in my head after I play this game. So I'm actually really looking forward to showing this one off, because again, a long time ago when I first got into the Master System, I thought I would never finish this game. You know, some Master System arcade games in particular, or action games, just are overly difficult and very unfair. But Rastan seems like it's unfair at first, but once you get into it, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty fair and pretty reasonable. So, and you know, reasonable, fair, difficult action games are the most fun kind, I feel, and Rastan is definitely up there as probably being one of the more fun action arcade style games on the Master System. One I definitely recommend. So, but with that, let's go ahead and jump into the game. Let's hit our button number 1. And it's going to toss us right into the game. And once the music kicks in, that means you're in the game itself. And so Rastan here, he can jump, he can walk left and right, he can also duck, And he can attack while ducking. He can also attack while standing, obviously. He can also attack upwards by holding up and pressing attack, and then he can also do a down slash, which is actually very handy. The down slash is actually the most powerful move in the game. Rastan also has 2 different jump heights. He can press the jump button regularly to do a regular jump like this. You'll typically jump up on those staircase type, ridges that are 1 tile up. And then anything above that, Rastan will have to do a high jump. And you do a high jump by just holding up and pressing jump in the air. There's going to be a lot of holding diagonally up and forwards and jumping when you're on ropes. You can jump off ropes and vines in this game, which is nice. And we're going to demonstrate that here in just a few moments. But yeah, we're into our first palace, or our castle, or whatever you want to call it. The structure in Rastan is basically outside area. What? I got hit by that. See, that's the Master System jank I was talking about. I did not touch that spike. That's really frustrating. Anyway, structure of the game is outside, and then you go inside, and then after you're inside, you play through, and then you get to a boss fight, beat said boss, and then go to the next level. So, I didn't mention, but I picked up a couple of different weapons on that level. I got a mace, and then I got the fire sword here. Now, the weapons in this game are timed. They do run out, and my fire sword ran out there. So the fire sword is the most powerful weapon in the game, and it shoots a long-range projectile, which is really nice. So just about every level has a fire sword. You want to know how to get that to make your life a lot easier in this game. So that first boss, pretty easy boss, and the first level itself is pretty easy, but level 2 is where things start to get fairly difficult. There's a couple of reasons for that, but first, that previous boss we did, you'll notice that all I was doing was just down swiping into the boss's head. All you have to do is just stay above the boss, and then just down swipe, and then you will be good to go. You'll do a lot of damage. Again, like I said, the down swipe is the most powerful move in the game. Also, we got ourselves an axe. The axe is actually a really good weapon. I'm going to do a high jump onto that vine or rope, and then high jump off the raft. Down swipe again. These chimeras are pretty easy to deal with. However, these other guys with these 4 arms, they shoot projectiles, and the projectiles can either go up or down, so you've got to watch out for them. So this part's a little tricky. There is a fire sword in the air, so what I want to do is jump up here and then kind of attack, and then jump again. I'll land on an invisible platform. Little cryptic. But we got ourselves the fire sword, and this actually makes the rest of this level a lot easier, because you do have a lot of enemies. Some of them shoot projectiles. And funny enough, these fish actually are impervious to the sword's projectiles, which is really weird. And of course I missed that. Of course I missed it. And I did not miss the raft, but the game thinks I did. And what ended up happening is the game thought I touched the water, and water does hurt you. So I want to use my sword projectile here to take out these enemies from a distance. Hopefully kill those 4 armed guys before they actually throw projectiles at me. We got ourselves a big potion there. The blue potions actually give you health back, which is really nice. What I'm going to do here is actually show you how to grab that item in case you don't have the fire sword. So what you want to do is jump here, do a regular jump. Oops, let's try that again. So jump here, regular jump. Now I'm... Oh, I still took a hit. You gotta be kidding me. This game is so jank right now. Anyway, it is possible to get this mace without taking damage. I've done it many times. But you really only want to do that if you don't have the fire sword. If you have the fire sword, it's going to last to about this point. You can grab your axe. The axe is, I'm going to say it's about the same strength as the fire sword. I just got myself a scroll, and I just got myself some armor. So the scroll will actually clear out regular enemies on the screen. It will not clear out fish for some reason. Likewise, your fire sword, like I said, its projectiles won't hurt fish either. The fish are just something stupidly powerful in this game for some reason. But I did pick up some armor, and if you hit the pause button on this game, it'll say Protector in your arms. It shows you what you have. The Protector boosts my defense for a short period of time. So boss number 2, what we want to do is just down slash into his head, and then up slash preferably. You can do a forward slash, especially with this strong axe. but I want to take as few hits as possible, but it's okay. When we beat bosses in this game, when we go to the next level, our health bar extends, and we also get a full health refill. It's one of the only points in the game where you can get a full health refill outside of a random item drop. And the random item drop in question is actually a ram's head. If you see the ram's head, always go for it, because it will give you all of your health back. And we've got the mace. The mace apparently is about the same strength as the base sword that you start with. So it's not great, but it is a little bit longer, which does make parts of the game a little bit easier. I really like down swiping those guys that have projectiles, because they can just be really frustrating, and with a weapon like this, they'll normally take 2 hits if I attack them straight on. If I do a down swipe, however, they die instantly, because the down swipe is so powerful in this game. We're going to do ourselves a regular jump right here, high jump, down swipe. We're going to do a high jump here to grab onto the rope. Kill this chimera. Another piece of armor, that's good. And, okay, we're just going to fall straight down. That flying guy doesn't normally appear there, but again, a little bit of randomness here. We're going to jump. We do have some flying insect-like enemies, which are pretty frustrating. Oh, health refill. Unfortunately, we couldn't grab that. You can't walk past the door to the entrance of the castles, which is a bummer. So that was a small health refill. Actually, I think it was the large health refill, but there's not a huge difference between the large and the small. More spikes right here. We're going to do high jump, regular jump, and then regular jump right there. Regular jump here, here, and here, and then high jump, swipe, and then duck and attack these guys. Do not... Oh, red potion. Red potions hurt you. Do not ever attack those guys standing, because their attacks will override yours, and you will take a lot of damage. They are very frustrating enemies. And speaking of which, I'm going to jump and down swipe them, because they take so many hits with my regular sword. And let's hit start. Looks like I got a shield, which also reduces a little bit of the damage taken. Alright, so boss number 3. The idea for this boss is to stun lock it. So it throws out projectiles, and then once you attack it, you can just sit here, hold down the attack button. Rastan will just keep attacking. Wait for it to throw projectiles again, and then just go right back to stun locking it, just like this. Actually, a really easy boss fight, and you can tank some hits. Just look at your health bar. Like, I had a pretty decent-sized health bar going into that boss fight, and so I knew I could absorb some hits. I don't worry about absorbing hits in the boss fights if I know that I have a really good chance of defeating the boss fight before it defeats me. So we got some Medusas now. These are new enemies. Also, these skeleton guys, if you hit them a couple times, they fall into the ground, which is kind of funny. Pretty harmless enemies for the most part, but they are a little bit beefier in terms of their defense. And our mace right there, always want to attack it. You can't actually jump off that platform and just run into it and grab it. You have to actually kind of swipe for it. Regular jump right here, high jump, down slash, just like that. High jump. We're going to do a regular jump. Going to vertically swipe that guy, and I'm going to another down slash right there. Enemies are not dropping a whole lot right now. High jump, high jump. Now, you can get hurt on those moving blocks if they go all the way down to their lowest position. There's like a pixel or two of water you can touch. And that will actually hurt you. Now, if you touch a little bit of the water before it goes all the way down to its lowest position, you will not take damage. So you can learn that, and then you can actually kind of rush through certain sections a little bit faster. I'm going to jump and fall down here. Now, right here, there is an invisible platform that you can land on, and it is super hard to figure out where it is. I can usually get it on the way in, but not on the way out. And of course, I missed that, and I missed it again. Oh. Really bad play. And look at that. Bad potion. Bad potions are bad. Red potions are bad. Hopefully we get some other health upgrades here, because it's not looking amazing so far. Still not looking horrible, but, you know, the less hits I take, the better. So if we just sit here and jump, we want to wait for this raft. And then I can try to attack these fish as they pop up, but it's a little frustrating. I'm going to wait for this guy to come over here, see if he drops an item. See if... of course it's right there. That's going to despawn, yeah. The power-ups despawn really quickly. Now, I'm most likely going to lose my red sword or my fire sword, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this axe. Remember, weapons in this game are timed, And so they will run out before you get to a point where you really need to use them. These crushers, you can always just duck underneath them. They will never hurt you if you just duck underneath them. Now, just don't jump into them. Sometimes there's a flying enemy that tries to come down and attack you. It seems to be kind of random as to whether it happens or not. I'm going to attack that guy from the rope. High jump, and then just duck. We're going to high jump again. High jump again. We're going to high jump here. High jump there. Ooh, hate it when that happens. Regular jump right there, and then down swipe. That's a really tight jump right there. You need to do a super jump. And then we're on to our boss fight. So what I want to do is manipulate this guy. He likes to jump. And what he does is he won't go off the side of the screen. So let me see if I can get him to go upwards. There we go. Let him bounce above us, just like that. And then just do vertical swipes. So you can use the side of the screen to manipulate him. Let him bounce back right on top of you, and then vertically swipe him. And same thing, move the screen over, just like this. And again. Just like that. Awesome. That boss can be a little tricky because whether he jumps or not feels completely random, and whether he shoots projectiles and when he shoots projectiles also feels completely random. Our little chimeras there, you can just duck and attack them, and you can just let them walk right in front of you. I'm going to jump and just swipe that guy. Health refill, very nice. So we have a full health bar right now. Gonna attack that Medusa just standing up. Do a high jump right there. Interesting. Normally there's I believe a snake that appears here. I'd like to grab that armor. Got it. Awesome. Very lucky. Gonna do a high jump, and then another high jump, grab onto that rope, and then another high jump right there. Those level 1 enemies, the guys that only have one arm, and, oh, I'm gonna fall into... Oh, that happens every time I do this. So, that's okay. We're going to do a regular jump here. I'm gonna do a high jump and then down swipe. Attack the Medusa, just duck and attack. You can go under their projectiles. So that's a staff right there. The staff is actually interesting. It extends the amount of time you can use your weapon that you have equipped. Again, normally weapons, they time out. I'm going to do a high jump right here, jump, and then high jump again. And I'm going to grab that. That's another axe, which should restore some of my time on it. I'm going to kill these chimeras, see if they drop anything. Nope. And I grabbed a scroll, apparently, because I saw the enemies were defeated. High jump right here. High jump again. Down swipe these guys. High jump there, down swipe. These guys with the masks and the helmets, they can be really frustrating enemies. You don't want to ever attack them head on. You always want to attack them while you're ducking, unless you're doing a down swipe. We're going to just come on down here, and I'm going to just rush through this part, just kind of tank. There is a rock. I do want that, but I can't grab it. It's too dangerous to grab it. It's just not worth it. Gonna do a down swipe. There's a rock. Another rock right here. Another one right there. Jump over it. That was actually a pretty good section. That's a really tough section. There's so much going on. Ooh, there's a ram's head. We got all of our health back. That's actually really good. So what we want to do on this boss fight is actually get behind the boss, jump over it, and hit it in the head. By doing so, it'll actually, if you do a down swipe, it'll change directions. Sometimes. It doesn't seem to be wanting to do it right now. There it goes. It'll make a little cry and then change directions. So I'm just going to down swipe it just like that, because the down swipe does so much damage, and if I trade hits, it's not a big deal. But ideally, you sit behind it, you jump ahead, you sort of tickle its nose, and it makes a noise, and it goes in the other direction, and you just rinse and repeat. I'm going to go ahead and grab that axe. And interesting, this stone right there, I don't think it goes down far enough to where you can actually take damage from that lava if you sit on top of it. Go ahead and kill that Medusa. We're going to do a high jump right here. That thing is going to fire at us, and we're going to do a ducking slash. Let's get rid of this flying thing. I can't tell if it's a bat or a bird or whatever. High jump, and we're going to do a regular jump right here. And then high jump again. What's interesting about that second fireball is that it's actually better to do a high jump underneath it instead of trying to go over it. Most fireballs, you want them to kind of go back down into the fire and then jump over them. But with that one fireball, you actually kind of want to go underneath it, which is odd. All right, kill that guy. So right here, we're going to have to high jump, and we'll high jump again and again. And for this part, you have to high jump from the far corner here. Otherwise, you go too far into that lava or that fire. High jump right here, regular jump, high jump, and we can get ourselves a good fire sword right here. Still have a decent health bar. So this is going to also lead us to our second cave. Got a little bit of a health refill there, which is nice. Every little bit helps. I just got a red crystal, or a red diamond, and those are just points. The blue and red ones are just points. So, again, points don't really do anything for you in this game. Wow, another health refill. I'm going to jump right here, do a regular jump because there's a rock. I'm going to do a high jump. So much memorization if you want to get through this without taking a lot of damage. Yeah, very much a trial and error kind of game. Ooh, I got a ram's head. I got so lucky. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that. Normally when I play this, I get really bad RNG. Like, here's a point icon that nobody cares about. That sort of thing. There are some weapons that just boost your score, and it's like, you really don't care about score in this game. Wait for that fireball to go away. We'll do a regular jump right here, and a regular jump again, high jump. And we want this fire sword for this boss, and what we're going to do is just basically tank the boss with vertical slashes. There we go, just like that. So we grab the fire sword, and we run all the way up to the boss door as quickly as possible. When I was first learning how to play this game, I would grab the fire sword and grind out so I can get health refills. But yeah, it worked once or twice, but generally it's a bad idea. You want to just take the fire sword to the boss fight. Don't worry about health refills, because ideally you want to just play well getting to the boss fight. Anyway, this is our final level. So what happens on this level is, I like to go left every time we start. You can either go left or right. Both directions will eventually lead you to the boss, or I should say the door that leads you to the next section. So it's a little bit like the last couple of Wonder Boy games. Monster World and Dragon's Trap, that have a castle that's kind of non-linear and maze-like, and so this is actually somewhat similar to that. We're going to wait for that spike to drop, jump here, and by the way, this is our final level. So after this, we're at the final boss. I'm going to jump through here, and of course I make that mistake every time, is I fall right into that spike, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I think we'll be okay. The final boss actually isn't too bad. Wait, it's duck and attack this guy. He takes 3 hits with your regular sword. Now this looks like something that you can't make it up, but you actually can. If you just high jump, you'll just sort of clip right onto it. And then this is our last section. We're onto our final boss fight right now. So there's actually a bunch of different ways you can do damage to this guy. You can just attack him straight on. You can wall jump and then down swipe into him. Another strategy is to just kind of walk along with him. And you can occasionally get hits off by smacking him in his chin. But I like doing this number. And we basically end up trading hits. I'll get a couple of hits on him when he just gets right in front of me like that. But then just down swipe like that. And I'll down swipe again. Now when I first played this game, I thought the big dragon that we fought right before this guy was going to be the final boss, but it turns out this is the final boss. Now, thankfully, his hitbox doesn't really go back to his wings, so you can just kind of like run into him a little bit and not really worry about taking damage. When he stops like that, he always dashes forward. And one thing I didn't really mention at the beginning of this game is that your health does actually slowly tick down during boss fights. So your health actually kind of turns into a timer, much like the original Wonder Boy or an Adventure Island game. And there we go. Down slash for the win, and we just beat Rastan without dying. I'm glad I was able to do that, because I actually already recorded a Let's Play of me doing that, but my voice track was screwed up. It was glitching, so I had to do some troubleshooting, and hopefully this track actually works out so I don't have to play through this game again, because it's a stressful playthrough. I just made it look pretty easy, but I swear I've played this game dozens of times trying to learn this run for this Let's Play, so it can be frustrating if you're not completely on point and you're not completely in tune with the whole game. It is very easy to die and mess up, take a lot of damage, and then get discouraged. So, but it is a really cool game, though. I'm really glad I've finally learned how to play this game. Probably one of my favorite action games on the Master System now, despite some of its jankiness, but the jankiness just kind of comes with the territory on Master System. In terms of early action games, it's just a Master System thing, but really fun game. It's got good flow to it. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You know, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes to go through. So it's not a particularly long game, but it's also not super short, like 10 minutes, like Aladdin was. But yeah, it's good times. So when I first got into Master System back in the day, in the late 90s, I mean, I played Master System in the late 80s, early 90s growing up. One of my neighbors had one, but it wasn't until the late 90s I acquired one for myself, and I started collecting cartridges and discovering the library further beyond what I played as a child. I did have this game, and I thought it was really fun, but I also really struggled with it. And but it was always one of those games in the community that was pretty well regarded for the system. Whenever there were NES versus Master System arguments or conversations back in the day on message boards and Usenet, Rastan would always kind of be put up on a pedestal. And while I don't think it's held up as well as it probably did in the late 90s, some of its jank is pretty obvious when you play it now. Overall, it's still a really solid game. Very solid action game. I think it's got some really nice graphics at points. It's got a good flow to it. It's got, I think, a pretty good soundtrack that, you know, the main theme itself is always memorable to me. I always get it stuck in my head after I play the game or watch videos of it. And, yeah, it's a good game just from start to finish. It actually logs your score when you finish the game. So if you're trying to play for high score, you can. And it actually has ending credits. It's actually got ending text with pictures, and it's got a thanks for playing, produced by Taito, you know, that sort of thing. Like, it's a good solid package for the Master System. And if you're a fan of 8-bit consoles, in particular the Sega Master System, if for some reason you haven't played this game, then I definitely recommend checking it out and referring to this video if you struggle at points in the game. It's definitely worth sinking time into, sinking your teeth into, and learning. It's a pretty fun playthrough when you know what you're doing. So anyway, guys, that's it. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel and you like commentary playthroughs like this, please subscribe. I've got a lot of Let's Plays like this and live streams, and hopefully many, many more to come. There's like a lifetime's worth of content on my channel at this point. So feel free to subscribe, keep up with what I do, go check out some old videos. I've got a lot of 8-bit stuff in particular. For all of you guys already subbed, thanks as always for your continued support. If you guys can, give it a thumbs up or even a thumbs down. I don't know. I think it all helps me at this point. Helps my videos get exposed to other people. You know, got to chase that YouTube algorithm. But regardless of that, thanks all for watching. I do appreciate it. And hopefully this video also helped you out if you're trying to learn this game. I know there's a lot of different people, a lot of different types of people that watch these videos. Some just want to reminisce, some just want to watch someone somewhat skilled play through games, others want to actually learn and try to get through these games themselves. So whichever camp you fall in, hopefully you enjoyed the playthrough regardless. And until the next one, take it easy.